Hello girls, welcome back to this very special video from us, from Eurovox, from the representative of the girls in Eurovox. Today is Women's Day, so we are celebrating women in Eurovision. I'm here joined by Sara, by Jess, and by Maria. Hello girls, how are you?
Hi.
Hello.
So we want to honor and celebrate today not only the female artists that we see on stage, but also the people that we may not see, the camera operators, the light operators, the sound engineers, the women in the delegations, the makeup artists, the clothes and wardrobe artists, that they may not be so visible, but they make the show, and without them we wouldn't be able to enjoy our favorite show on television. But before we dive a little bit on this, let's warm up the session with starting with the female artists that we think were more empowering or did shape us, our view of what an artist could be or how an artist could behave, that really impacted ourselves. Sara, who made a real impact with you in Eurovision?
Okay, so obviously I was born because I was born in this year, but I wasn't even one. But Dana International for me screams empowerment for Eurovision.
Viva Maria, viva Victoria, Afrodita. Viva la diva, viva Victoria, Cleopatra.
I mean, she was the first transgender woman to win Eurovision, and her song Viva la Diva, it's like everything screams empowerment to me.
This is a very good topic that we haven't touched before. What songs? Because we have talked about the artist before, but not about the song. That's a great topic. I think in my case, which song would spell empowerment would be Fight by Natalia Barbu from 2007. Because, you know, she was a powerful female standing there so solid. She had fire behind, but she was playing such a delicate instrument like the violin. And she looked so pretty and glamorous. So she embodied both light aspects and dark aspects that composes a woman in one. So I thought that was very eye-catching for me. Maria, do you have a song?
A song?
Yes.
Oh, I have so many songs who are like empowering me actually every day. No, I'm gonna be very classic and very boring. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna say Loreen ×2 now because these are my ultimate favorite songs and like female songs, you know. And Loreen, she's just such an inspiration. When I met her, I was like, wow, totally. Like that was actually one of the most amazing Eurovision memories as a journalist. But also the songs, like some people may say like, oh, it's a pop, it's a Swedish pop, but for me it speaks to me, both Euphoria and Tattoo. But also I would like to mention, this is what we mentioned in a podcast, I don't know if you're gonna see it or you saw it already. Yeah, but like for example Destiny, who is like who had to fight all the fatophobia and like, you know, being a plus size girl in the very modelly world. It's not easy, and for me as a always plus size person since I was a little child, you know, it was so great to see a strong, beautiful, big woman on stage, you know, speaking her mind and singing she sings amazing, you know. Or Netta, for example, like these are the women who are not like afraid that, oh, I look like this and this is how I am and I'm gonna rule this world, you know.
So baby, it's not a maybe. Yeah, I'm too good to be true, but there's nothing in it for you. So if I show some skin, doesn't mean I'm giving in. Not your baby. Je me cache.
So we can say that visual representation is also very, very important. Jess, which one is a song or many songs that speak to you about empowerment?
Well, the first song that came into my mind when you mentioned it was Wild Dances for some reason. But I think that's maybe more to do with Ruslana than the song, because I just remember seeing this, how I viewed it as a strong, powerful woman on stage. She kind of looked a bit like a warrior almost in the outfit she was wearing. And she's just kind of chanting and shouting like, go wild dances. And for me, that just screams power for me. Like, it was very striking to me as a teenager seeing that on stage, because I hadn't really been exposed to anything like that before. So for me, that was quite cool to see.
We have been talking about this kind of empowerment that has to do with a lot of strong energy, but also there's a different sense of empowerment when you want to go for a lighter, softer sound. That's also very feminine, and it doesn't take away being like soft and light. Also, is part of being a well-rounded woman. So I'm also very curious to know what other songs that go on this other polar opposite, that are more light and flowy in Eurovision, would be a standout. For me, would be Malta 2003 with Don't Let Me Fall Apart, Please Don't Take My Hand, I Love You.
Lynchy Cop.
Yes, it was so fragile and traditional, what we think about traditionally feminine and soft. And I think in this hyper masculine world that we live in, that was, thanks God, we are trying to veer away from. I think there are many ways of breathing, of being a woman that has everything, there's space for every way of standing in the world. So maybe, Sarah, you have a song that came to mind now.
Yes, it's Undo by Sanna Nielsen.
Oh.
It's such a beautiful song, and she is so fragile, and it's so emotional, and yeah, it just feels like it's breakable, and that's also very empowering, like in a different way than being the good standing woman, being powerful on stage. This was like powerful in a way that you feel like you can talk about your emotions, and that's very strong if someone can do that. Bring a song with meaning and just a beautiful song.
Yes, that's an empowerment in vulnerability that us as women, we have the privilege to show, but sometimes it's not so allowed in the men's world. But we're not here to talk about men's world today. We will leave that for another chapter. But Maria, which is your fragile, ethereal song for you?
Actually, when you were talking about other songs, I had to check the title because it's in Spanish. So I'm, I was like, okay, I don't wanna sounds weird here, but it's Spain 1995. It's Vuelve Conmigo. I don't know what that means. Clara.
Yes, Anabel Conde, Vuelve Conmigo.
I love it. And actually, this song, of course, yeah, I don't know if I watched Eurovision 1995. Even if I was 4 years old, I don't remember it. But I remember the director of Eurovision 2016, Edvard Afsilen, he was posting that once on his story. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, wait, oh my God. Also, I love Spanish music, so that's totally like talking to me. I would also like to mention like our first Polish entry, Edyta Górniak with To nie ja. She was only standing with little white dress and singing with her heart. probably you don't understand the lyrics, but I do understand, and it's like a little bit with like Bible, that she wasn't the Eve who stole, like all the guilt from the world. So it is really amazing. And from the recent ones, I think Cornelia Jacobs really touched my heart also, with just like her voice, her like this crack in her voice and pure emotions. So I think that three, like the female, different vibes, but emotional ones.
Yeah, I think the popular culture is calling it today light feminine and dark feminine. Jess, what is a light feminine artist that also stands up for you?
I think for me it has to be Yeva from Lithuania, who sang When We're Old in 2018.
When we're out, when we're out,
I think because in the performance, if I remember correctly, towards the end, she did get very emotional with the song that is emotional and was almost crying. And it, I think, as you mentioned before, if men show that kind of like behavior, or they're crying, some men think that they're not like an alpha, or that they're, it's a bit hush hush. But with women, I feel like they can be more themselves when it comes to their feelings. And so the fact that she wasn't scared to just show that emotion in front of millions of people around Europe and Australia, I think is pretty awesome. Like pretty hardcore. Like to just not care, and to just be like, who cares? I'm emotional. This is emotional. This is who I am. I'm going to cry on the Eurovision stage.
And what very good examples you've given us, from wild dances to Lithuania.
Yeah.
What was the song title?
When We're Old.
When We're Old. Like two completely different ways of expressing and standing on a stage, yet two very feminine versions that I think not only every woman, but every person has. Some are more in touch with one side and some are more in touch with the other side. But isn't it being alive so fascinating?
And they're still women at the end of the day.
Definitely. But now let's go to the people behind the performances that we don't see, which are maybe even more approachable to us, because we are the artists that are on stage. Most of us wanted to be there one day. Let's be real about it.
Yeah.
And it is not maybe as accessible to us based on life circumstances, talent, connections, money, whatever it is. But there is some way where we can approach Eurovision in a way that's realistic, which is through jobs like reporters, journalists, camera crew, light artists, sound artists, operators. And it is amazing that those kind of jobs are now there's more women involved, there's more women that are taking important decisions in Eurovision. And I'm wondering, girls, if clearly we'll want to be on the stage, but if you had a choice to be one of these or do one of these jobs, which one would you go for?
I think I would love to be a head of delegation, someone that can be in charge of, the artist and the backing vocalists, and can go around organising interviews and talking with the camera people about, I like this, I don't like this is not working. Just to be essentially like a boss woman, I think would just be really fun. And I just think it would be something cool to be like the one in charge, and to have everyone look up to me, type thing.
Maria?
Well, I have two actually. The first one will be also like head of delegation or head of press, maybe, because you are then connected to worlds like Hannah Montana in both worlds. But my biggest dream, it's not even singing on the stage, No, I would like to direct Eurovision. And if Poland ever wins Eurovision, I have so many ideas. So, you can call me. So I would love to do that. Like, I also started what I said before, Edward of Zealand. He's working in many shows, like Eurovision, of course, 2013 and 2016, and I really admired his work. Like, I was also like watching from this side, but also I have to sadly say, because I haven't heard about any female director like of Eurovision. Maybe we don't know about it, but when you see like people on the stage, generally during rehearsals, when you're in the arena, you see mostly men. So I would love to see some women. By the way, when we were in Luxembourg, I don't know if you remember, Sarah, there was this lady on the stage. She was mind-blowing. She was like, so tough, but so like amazing at the same time. I think she was a director or the producer or stage manager, I don't know, but she was absolutely outstanding. So I think that will be my dream role.
When you say she was tough, what do you mean? Because when a woman is called tough, a man is being assertive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, true. Now that's a good point. No, she was she was strong in her you have to be in this kind of job. You cannot be like, oh, can you maybe stand here and just move a bit? No, she was like, you stand here, you stand here, you stand here. And that's also the part of the job. If you cannot do this kind of things, then you probably cannot do this job good. But she was really, I was watching her like all the time. She was there. She was taking artists, taking superstars like Ruslana there. No, the lights are not working. Stop, So, it was amazing to watch. I think Sarah agreed with me.
Yeah. What was your experience, Sarah, on that?
I just thought, oh my God, she is amazing. I would love to have that job because it's very like professional. She knew what she had envisioned and what needed to happen on stage and in timings. And even during the show, she was like the one to hype up the audience when the videos of all the artists play on TV. They were playing in the for us as well, and she was like, okay, so I'm gonna count down from 5 and then everyone is gonna scream at 5, 4 every time. And I don't know, she was amazing.
Would you want her job and some other job in Eurovision?
Yep. For me, I think I would like to be a stage manager just to get like every artist on stage on time and make sure everyone leaves the stage on time. That kind of punctual planning, I think that would suit me.
Yes, I could actually see all of you girls in those roles. For me, I would love to design the staging of song. And like decide, okay, and now this color is gonna pop here, and it's gonna be synced at the same time. The artist says this word because it's going to reflect on this emotion, or it's like a visual metaphor. I would love to create visual metaphors on stage. That would be my
I think we have
role.
crew. I think we have now Eurovox Eurovision crew in case, So
Yeah.
Yes. They will be the Eurovox country performing next. And well, it is Eurovision has really impacted us in many ways, but I want to know, after you watched it the first time, what was the thing that made you want to watch it the following year? Jessica, go ahead. Take it away.
I think because, I love music, I love singing, and I love learning about different countries and different cultures. So I think it was a mix of all of those things combined into one show that just made me want to watch it again. Because I'm thinking like, I've got to know so many more like great songs. I've seen some cool stagings. I've heard all these different languages. And I'm like, I want to hear more of that. That one show wasn't enough. So it just made me want to discover more artists and more songs and more like, music from other countries, I would say.
Sarah?
For me, I love music, and I love it when all countries are like competing for something. So like the World Cup, I love. European Cup, I love. And then Eurovision brings that into music. And I was like, wow. And there were so many things happening.
Sarah, I think your image has frozen, but we could hear you perfectly.
Frozen, but I can still hear you.
You're Anna and Elsa now from Frozen.
Maria, what is the thing that made you want to watch Eurovision again?
That's a good question. I also like the part of competition, you know. I love to watch Olympics also and like Euro Cup, even though like my country is not the best at it. But it's not only about cheering your country. But I love this, of course, music. That's first of all, like above all of this. I love this kind of like Euro pop, you know, Eurovision music, like typical like 2000 years. This is what brought me to Eurovision actually. But I love to like see all the technical things, you know, like when I was first time in Rotterdam, that was my first Eurovision as a journalist, and I was in the arena and I was like just looking, you know, how it's done, where are the cameras, that was the most like interesting part for me, because maybe also of my job here as I was directing theater plays, you know. So yeah, the technical part, the music part, the personality part, and the voting part. I love it.
Do you prefer the older system where they went through all of the point by point by point?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, because now it's more exciting. Like, you don't know winner right away, because in the half of the voting, you can see clearly who's gonna win. But I prefer like the slower version, no? 8.2, 10.2, 12.2. And then if they can do like the voting like now, that would be perfect. But it would take like 1.5 hours probably. So maybe not good for the television.
Yeah. Jess, you said no with your head.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they used to announce every point from 1 to 12, and for me, it just seemed to drag on a lot, and it just was too slow for me. So I prefer them just announcing the 8, the 10, and the 12, because it's quicker. And I'm not a patient person, so I like it to be quick.
Sarah?
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes when I watch it right now, I'm like, oh, this is taking forever. They're not even giving away all their points, you know? So old system, no. New system, yes.
Yeah, for audience purposes, I understand the new system is more optimal, but the romantic me misses going through point by point by point, because you could hear the spoke people longer, then you could hear the person broadcasting the show, like speaking, the Graham Norton of each country, making fun, just because it was taking long, so they had to fill in with fun jokes or like fun commentary. So I thought that had its character. So what made me go back to Eurovision again, I think, well, first of all, Eurovision was the only TV program I was allowed to watch as a child, because I had a very strict upbringing. But for some reason, my mom allowed me to watch Eurovision, which I'm very, very happy. And it was a very unique window to what was in the outside world. Because, you know, as well, at least for me, when I was 11 when I watched Eurovision for the first time in 2002. So my life had just been school, home, gymnastics, school, home, gymnastics, scouts, and that sort of squared points for a very long time. So it was more like, there are things outside this square, and they sound different. For me, it was the sound that kept me coming, because I also had books with fairy tales and really pretty illustrations, and the music from Spain is very like typically Spanish, and it has a very particular sound, and I could see those illustrations were playing instruments, and I couldn't relate the sounds that I already knew to the illustrations. It was like, how would this illustration sound? And then I heard like some fiddles in Eurovision, or some sounds from this country and this country, and I was like, oh, it must sound like this. And that is what kept me wanting to come back, to discover new sounds I hadn't heard before. So if we had to name the top three performances that made an impact on us, and after this we will wrap up the video, which top three female artists' performances would be the most empowering, or the ones that made more of an impact for you?
Who wants to start?
Does any girl have any top three already?
I have to say, it's very not nice to ask Eurovision fan to pick less than 10 songs of something. I think everybody could agree.
Okay, do you want to open it to a top five?
Oh, better.
I'm struggling to make a top three.
Or between 3 and 5.
Okay.
I have a top 3, but now we're on top 5. I need to reconsider.
Okay, let's do top 3 then.
I think I'm going to stick with Ruslana, Wild Dances, and I'm going to stick with Yeva, When We're Old, and then I would probably add Cornelia Jacobs to that list. I think.
Nice top 3. Sarah.
Okay, so for me, it's Loreen with Euphoria, because I just remember her dancing and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Alessandra, because sorry, that's powerful. That's girl power right there. And Estine.
Nice. I like that. Maria, I know Loreen. I think it's Loreen 1, Loreen 2.
Definitely. But as Sarah told about Euphoria, I'm gonna say Tattoo.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, because there are like two Loreens. Oh, there are even 4 Loreens, but they didn't make the Eurovision. By the way, Statements actually is my favorite like non-Eurovision preselection song, and I'm still sad about that it didn't go through to Eurovision, but that was a powerful statement, you know. But yeah, for me, yes, definitely Loreen. I would add Chanel, honestly, because she also changed a lot in the contest, especially what we could see like last year. I would also add Cornelia because her emotionality was out of this world. Yeah, I think. Oh, I know, and Aminata. Oh, yeah. And Aminata. I knew I had something with Latvia, but I was like, what was? Yeah. So that was. This song was on repeat in my Spotify like for 3 years. Now I'm done with it. You know, it's like okay, this song can go. I have new songs, but I loved it. It was also very powerful and amazing in the vocals and the visuals. And wow.
For me, my top 3 would be Ruslana, obviously. Then Vanilla Ninja, because it was very empowering for me to see a female band playing their own instruments on stage. And it was like the visual confirmation that girls can play instruments and they can rock out the world. And, you know, we had Avril Lavigne, but she didn't she played guitar on some songs, but like when you could see a visual band doing that, it was very, very important for me to witness that. And then the third one would be Eleni Foureira with Fuego, because she reshaped the dance breaks in Eurovision after that.
Yeah.
And
can I add something? Because I have 2. I don't know if you remember. Of course, you remember Tattoo. The tattoo, the band, you know. Yeah, but that was then. Oh, that was a big scandal. I think I was like 12 years old, and I still remember reading about it because, at least in Poland, they were terribly popular. You know, we all went with the blouses like them, and the scandals, you know, about the love to a woman. Oh my God! So that was really outstanding. And if I can mention like very female song, but in another way, I would like to mention Poland 2014 Slavic Girls. We know how to shake a booty. So that was pretty iconic. And also for Polish people, very important because we come back to the contest after 2 years and it was pretty good result. So yeah.
That was one of my favorite songs that year. And also Shanna Nilsson was one of my favorite songs that year. They were both competing on the same year. And it was the first Eurovision I attended as the crowd. And I enjoyed it very much. But girls, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you guys watching the video, and girls and all of you, we love you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Maria. Happy Women's Day to you, to me, and to the rest of the girls in Eurovox and everyone that can make Eurovision happen and makes us very happy throughout the year. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. See you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.